All right, guys, welcome back to blockchain news number 24. Today, we're going to be covering quite a few articles. We got some interesting news going on here within the crypto space. And right now, as you can see, the market is in the red, not major pullbacks of any sort, but we do have Bitcoin at 10,242, Ethereum at 267, XRP at 32 cents, Bitcoin Cash at 474, Bitcoin SV at 354. With the largest pullback of negative 2.81% in the top 5. As we take a look at Coin360 right now, we're seeing those same numbers, but we're seeing XRP somewhat in the green there. Tron, about 0.5% in the green. We got NEM, we got another few coins that are also in the green, but the majority of the market is in the red. Again, nothing major, just a few percentages here and there. Nothing too crazy, nothing to panic about. Like I had mentioned in the previous video, we will, see this kind of up and down, up and down. The market doesn't just move up. It is likely that we can see a smaller or actually a bit of a larger pullback. And if it does happen, no need to panic. It's just part of the growth. And we got to keep in mind that we have that Bitcoin halving coming up soon. We have Ethereum 2.0, and we have a lot of big things going on. So keep those things in mind, and just when you see some red, don't let it affect you. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. We got some interesting stuff today, guys. First up, we have US DOJ calls Bitcoin mixing a crime in a arrest of software developers. So maybe you guys heard some of the news, but a guy named Larry Harmon was arrested because he was allegedly participating in a money laundering conspiracy of more than 300 million in crypto involving darknet marketplace Alphabay. So this marketplace was secured by the FBI back in 2017, and he did have a Bitcoin mixing service that was called Helix that he did program. Essentially, all it did was, as some of you guys do know, with Bitcoin mixing, you're able to send Bitcoins to kind of like let's call it a middleman. And then that's able to mix the amounts and try to conceal and obfuscate the source or owner of the Bitcoins that are getting sent over to the receivers. So it is done for a small fee, but it has been working. It's something that we've seen within the Bitcoin space. It's a way to kind of keep that privacy going. Now, the biggest issue here is that not only was he charged for this high amount, so 300 million in crypto, but he is being sought out for being considered a criminal for having created this kind of software. So now we're starting to see where, the Department of Justice may be perhaps overstepping, depending on how you want to look at things, right? Because some people are claiming that this is part of your Fourth Amendment, where you have the right to be to secure things within your person's house, papers and effects and all that good stuff against unreasonable searches and seizures. Now, does Bitcoin fall under that? Then that's another thing to keep in mind, right? But the biggest issue is that he is a developer. He did develop something that unfortunately was used within the dark web. It was used for bad things, and it did come back and bite him very heavily, So right now we don't know what's exactly going to be happening, but his family is in everybody's going through tough times. His wife is getting a lot of harassment calls. She's being threatened over the phone. His brother's assets have been frozen. They started GoFundMe for the trial. Just kind of a mess. It's kind of a really crappy situation to be in, especially if him specifically being a developer, and then the family, right, that's connected to him. So I don't wish bad upon him. It seems like he was not the actual person that was leveraging Alphabay or any of the bad darknet marketplaces or anything like that. But unfortunately, he is caught in between, kind of that wrong time, kind of wrong place situation. So this is the first time that we've seen this kind of situation take place within crypto, and it's starting to get pretty fuzzy. It seems like we really need that regulation so we can move forward with proper claims from the Justice Department, and we don't run into issues like these. So his wife was claiming that he liked to not only help within the privacy sector because it was something big, especially for Bitcoin and stuff. He was a big advocate of privacy, and it's okay. But he was offering these kind of things because maybe you have people that are trying to get certain products that are legal, but they might face judgment from conservative family members, right? So, for example, the example they used was people within the queer community. So that might be something, I'm not going to be one to judge. I don't know for the actual facts behind this situation, but I figured I'd let you guys stay up to date on that. Next up, we have IOTA Foundation suspends network probes fund theft in Trinity wallets. So it seems like there's been about 10 identified wallets that were especially hacked into, or let's say that it was a seed theft that took place within the Trinity wallet. So IOTA is handling that from their end. They decided to shut off the coordinator node, and there's further investigation taking place. So if you are within the IOTA environment, kind of keep an eye on that if you're holding anything within your Trinity wallets, just so you guys know. Next up, we have Iran concerns may be driving Trump administrations to talk of new crypto rules. So it seems like what we've seen is that Iran has been leveraging the whole cryptocurrency industry to get around sanctions. And right now they're actually licensing Bitcoin mine or cryptocurrency mining licenses, which is going to be bringing the government upwards of $1 billion in annual revenue. So that's a big chunk of change there, guys. And obviously the US Trump administration is worried about the fact, and that's why some of the comments were made for cryptocurrency oversight. Moving forward, we have Trump's Fed nominee, Judy Shelton, says US should be proactive on digital dollar. So this was actually somebody that Trump nominated from to the Federal Reserve Board. And we're starting to see, aside from the other federal chairman, the federal chairman Powell that spoke the other day and made the comment about having a digital dollar that leveraged privacy. Now we're seeing her state that it is pretty important for us to keep our dominant reserve currency, that is the dollar, to remain and transition into a digital dollar. So again, we continue to see how the US is feeling that pressure financially because they don't want to be left behind. Of course, their biggest two things that they're keeping in mind are Libra as a wake-up call for the central banks, and then of course China went ahead and moved forth, so everybody's kind of racing to get in that step. All this means for us people in the cryptocurrency space is, finally about time these people actually have a reason, it seems like, to move forward and try to digitize the economy in a sense. And then, as we all know very well, people will get more exposure to cryptocurrencies, proper regulations will come into place, and then so on and so forth. And the people will decide what kind of currency they actually end up using. Next up, we have Binance hires ex-Uber product lead as VP of Global Expansion. So we're getting Matt Schroeder here within the Vice Presidency of Global Expansion Operations for Binance. He worked before as Uber's global head of product operations. And the big thing here, guys, is that he essentially had a lot of experience building teams that went global, and he understood how to remain local or have a presence within the local community and kind of understand what consumers and market needs are at the time. So CEO of Binance, CZ, stated that essentially they're handling the same kind of challenges that he came up with in Uber. And right now, Binance is kind of at that same stage. And so he understands this to be a great opportunity to kind of bring him in and get him to do some of the work that he did for Uber. Next up, we have Torus launches to bring one-click login to Web 3.0. This is kind of the big news here for today, guys. This product here is getting a lot of support. So we have Binance, Ethereum name service, Etherscan, Matic Network, Ontology, Scale, Zilliqa, and Tendermint Core amongst the few that are supporting this new startup. And basically what this startup has done, it's just simplified the way that we can log into dApps. So right now we all know that we have to use private keys and all that stuff. Well, what Torus is going to be doing is it's going to be hosting your private key in different parts of the decentralized network. So instead of having to have that master password kind of thing that we've seen with other projects attempting to do, they're going to be working it in that way. And those central nodes are going to be some of the projects that I mentioned above. They're going to be supporting and running those nodes. So it can end up being quite safe, quite secure, and a great way for trying to take the complications of signing on to applications within the decentralized apps. And also it could apply too for the Web 2.0 apps, which are the ones that we currently use for Discord, Twitch, Google, Facebook, and all those good stuff, right? So this is good news because at the end of the day, for mass adoption, we want to see products like this that start taking the technicalities out of front end for users, and it can all just happen in the back end. And another cool thing to note is because it works on that Web 2.0 concept, you can send ERC20 tokens, for example, through email for like Gmail or something like that, and somebody can claim those once they create their account with the startup Torus. So that'll be pretty cool to see, right? Easier for onboarding, getting people involved, getting people started with cryptocurrency. And this is what I want to see for the most part for the mainstream. I don't want the mainstream to have to think about private keys. I think, and granted, you know, I may get some flack for this, and I understand what just came out of my mouth, right? Because essentially, if it's not, I got it. If it's not your private keys, if you're not the one who holds a private key, then it's not your crypto. And I know we've lived by that rule, and that's kind of been the thing. But to get people initially comfortable with the idea, we have to get products like this in place so that more people get exposed into crypto. If they want to decide to hold their own wallet with a private key, so be it. But it has been a reality that we're not going to move forward unless it's easier to onboard the people that, you know, just follow the mainstream. And so that's just my point on this whole Torus take. Next up, we have Huobi Argentina. It's adding fiat gateway for Bitcoin and Tether. So big news here is that Huobi is going to be onboarding the Argentina's local currency directly into Bitcoin pair and USDT pair, and that's going to just make it easier for people within that country to get involved. And we did notice that the Argentine peso devaluated by 566% in August 2019 when the former president lost the primary election. So again, another market that's ripe for crypto adoption. We've seen this kind of happen before. I'm hoping that their own coin doesn't devalue more than that, because obviously that's a lot of devaluation for their currency. And hopefully these people get onboarded and find a safe haven within cryptocurrencies. Also, we have FC Barcelona is partnering with Chili's to launch a cryptocurrency for their fans. So this one's going to be a fun one. We have the captain of FC Barcelona, which is Lionel Messi, a great, soccer player, football player. He is super decorated with awards, and he's just an amazing player himself. Essentially has teamed up with Chili's to launch a crypto. The big aim here is to have consumers or fans engage with the polls and surveys that are going to be put out for voting, and rewards are going to be given out also. There's going to be a token called BAR, so BAR, that is going to be allowing fans or anybody that wants to get access to their exclusive merchandise as well as unique experiences. So pretty cool stuff, guys. We're seeing crypto and the concept of, value being tokenized within the sports industry for fandom. We know that that's a very big industry. And if it has any success here, which I believe it will, because, Lionel Messi is a very, very prestigious and famous individual within the sport. This kind of takes off. We're going to probably see it within other sectors of sports and all that good stuff. So right now it's going to cost around €2 for each token. There's going to be a total of 40 million tokens, so not that many, which is good. And then the sale is supposed to take place in the second quarter of 2020. So keep an eye on that if you're interested. The fans will have to first buy the CHS or CHZ token, which is the digital currency for Socios, the mobile app of Chile. So keep that in mind if you are a big follower of this space. Next up, we have crypto lending firm BlockFi secures 30 million to facilitate mainstream adoption. So we've seen how crypto loans have been increasing throughout ever since 2018 when the market bear market took place. A lot of people wanted to be able to take loans on their assets. So BlockFi's actually been offering that, and they've been allowing for users to receive an annual percentage yield of about 8.6% for Bitcoin, Ether, and some stable coins. And you can also get your crypto backed loans for up to about 50% of an asset's value in USD. Right now, they got some more capital, and they're going to be expanding their staff and other offerings that they're going to have for their company. So pretty cool to see here. More mainstream adoption. They're going to keep pushing all that good stuff. And last but not least, we got Anthony Pompliano got suspended from Twitter for an hour. It seems like he tried to leverage the fact that Mike Bloomberg was attacking President Trump through a series of tweets or a single tweet, and then Pomp went out and just kind of, he just wanted to pump his own podcast here. So we can see, right? He comes in out of nowhere and just says, "Want to learn about Bitcoin, blockchain tech, and crypto? Join 40,000 other investors and sign up. Off the chain, Substack.com." So it seems like Twitter took the issue as Pomp trying to self-promote himself. Not sure if that's true or not, but from what it looks like to me, it seems like it is. Congratulations to Pomp if he did or find some new followers or people that signed up, and maybe it was worth getting that 1 hour suspension. So yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and click the like button. You can sub to the channel to stay up to date with all kinds of blockchain and crypto news. We're doing this throughout the week, Monday through Friday. Leave a comment down below to support me, support my channel. It definitely helps me out. If you want to keep talking about some of these articles that we went over today, we can do that down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.